But honestly, the biggest thing, Adam, is it goes back to, again, like, let's not beat ourselves with turnovers and penalties in the end, and drops. I know that can be a part of it as well, but there's a lot that goes into all of that. So that's a long way to say that, yes, we know we need to be better. When you lose a game, it gets magnified. When you win a game, sometimes it gets deodorized. And I think we need to understand that, hey, we have good things ahead of us, and let's just stay positive and work through these, and we'll be all right.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't have anybody else to help him here. That's the problem. There's nobody. There is nobody helping this guy. Travis Kelce is not the same player this year that he was last year or the years past. Maybe injury is because of it. You know, the drops are all over the place. I'm going to go on the record right now. Now, don't ask follow-ups on this because I don't have an answer to this. But I'm going to go on the record right now and say that somehow, some way, the Chiefs will enter the postseason this year with another wide receiver that is not on their team right now.
But honestly, the biggest thing, Adam, is it goes back to
Good morning, Kansas City. This is the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Wednesday, Hump Day, November 22nd. Stephen St. John and Nate Bukaty with Marco Marquez. Why is this date significant, Nate Bukaty?
It's the day before Thanksgiving.
No.
It's your birthday.
No. November 30th is my birthday, by the way.
I knew it was in November.
Now you sound like my dad. Steven, happy birthday. Dad, it's November 29th. Well, that's when you were born. I said, no. I got my driver's license right here.
Close.
Are you sure? Pretty sure. I'll call you tomorrow. All right, bye.
Well, I'd like to be the first to wish you a happy birthday this year.
Happy We love you guys. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bye-bye now.
Why is his date significant? Especially in my life, if you consider the things that I have taken great interest in my life. And
Elvis's birthday.
No, Elvis was born in January, bro. Born in January, died in August. Things that I've studied.
JFK's assassination.
The 60th anniversary of JFK's assassination.
I'm gonna have to watch some of these documentaries with my kids. They don't know about all this.
Marco just gave me a look of shock or something. What?
Are you sure you want to watch that with the kids?
Yeah.
They're old enough. They're high school.
Oh.
They're middle school kids.
Okay.
I started reading books about the JFK assassination when I was in. You gotta understand something. I was in many ways treated like an adult when I was 6. But I remember I have a pretty vivid memory of my mother. Me asking my mom. Okay, so a little background here. My mom didn't have a driver's license until her late 30s. And so when I was a little kid, up until I would say at least first or second grade, my dad was gone a lot. And so me and my mom would only go where we could walk or where we could take the bus. Somewhat limited us. But we did a lot of fun stuff. Those were some great memories of me and my mom. And we lived in Northeast. I grew up in Northeast. I lived on Jackson, just 7 houses up from Independence Avenue, 7 houses up from Burger Biggie's. First place I played Pac-Man. And so we'd walk to the bus stop and we'd take the bus downtown. But many times, and I think that this is one of the most impactful things that happened to me when I was a kid. At least 2 or 3 times a week, we would take the bus to the library. And I remember my grandpa, Danny Ontiveros, had a full set of encyclopedias, or encyclopedia set. And so I'd always go to read about the JFK assassination in the encyclopedia, and there was a few pictures. And then, Mijo, you should read a book about it, because my grandpa loved JFK.
Yeah.
Loved RFK. Had a shrine to him at his, behind his bar down in the basement, and he would always talk about him and everything else. And yeah, to remember, this is when I'm in late 70s, not too far removed from all that, right? I'm going to go get a book then. And so, about it. And so my mom would take me. I'd be so excited. Take me to go get a book about JFK. And so we'd go check out a book probably once or twice a week, whether it was Profiles in Courage or just about JFK, and then graduating to stuff about the JFK assassination and everything else. And that's just, it was a hard time for my teachers, because then even in the grade school, every single book report was about the JFK assassination, or every project, Stephen's recreation of Dealey Plaza, and here's where I think the true assassin was, behind the grassy knoll. I'm like 10, and like the teacher's like, why? Then I remember at one point they sent home a letter to my mom suggesting that I do book reports about other topics. And so then my next book report was, Is Elvis Alive?
Well,
tremendous pages of research is suggesting why he could be living in a convalescent center in Sweden, or performing in a nightclub in Costa Rica. Both were untrue, but there were some signs pointing that way. Yes, I was weird, super weird little kid, dude. But I've just always been, I don't want to say obsessed, but fascinated with it. And I ended up shockingly, earning an English degree because of my love of reading and writing. Not arithmetic.
No.
The three are.
Nope.
Yeah, and so like, especially for this one, because it's the 60th anniversary, there have been so many great documentaries. And a couple of weeks ago, I directed people to the National Geographic JFK documentary, and it's 3 episodes, but it was really cool because I received some feedback from some listeners that watched it and thank me. Hey, thanks for telling me about that. That was tremendous. And so that I would start there. One Day in America, JFK, One Day in America, and you can watch it on Hulu. And it's 3 episodes, and it's what's good. Why it would be a good starting point if you want your kids to learn about it, or just your kids to have an appreciation for one of the most awful, but still one of the most important moments in our country's history, is because this thing it's just fact based.
Yeah.
They're not trying to steer you either way or lead you in any direction about what happened. It's from the interviews of witnesses that are still living. Like I told you, one of the people they interview was the man that drove Lee Harvey Oswald to work that morning. And and you could still see it weighs on him so heavily. You know, because he doesn't know. I'm not sure he believes of Lee Harvey Oswald, but he's just talking somewhat matter of factly. He goes, yeah, I remember Lee got in the car that day, and he had a package, a long package. He was put in the back seat, and I said, Lee, what's that? He was curtain rods. Okay, and then we drove to work. Then we drove to the school book depository, and and like this man's still alive.
Yeah.
And he has, and they brought him in because since he drove Lee Harvey Oswald to work, they decided he could be involved, and they had him in an interrogation room right down the hall from Lee Harvey Oswald, and here he is now, in our current year, just telling those stories. And you're like, it just you can't believe it.
Yeah.
And the 2 Secret Service men that were there that day, several people that were there. A few people that were in the emergency room. Just unbelievable, right? First-hand accounts. And then they had a lot of footage that I had not seen before from that day. Either leading up to it, the day before when they stayed in Fort Worth, the speech that JFK gave that morning, the breakfast. And all these people were there to see him, right? And it was at the Dallas Trade Mart. But anyway, clearly they wanted to see JFK. But all these people were there, and all these women were there. They wanted to see Jackie. And then she decided she didn't love big crowds, and she said, "I'm not going to go to the breakfast. I'm just going to wait, and then we'll go in the motorcade." And there's this buzz that he comes out, and you could tell there was somewhat of an audible letdown that, where's Jackie? Because she was right.
Yeah.
She was a star. And so then he calls Clint Hill, the Secret Service agent that was assigned to her, and calls one agent, and he goes to Clint. He goes, the president wants Jackie at the breakfast now. And Clint goes, oh, she's not planning on going down there. She's and then he goes, the president wants Jackie at the breakfast now. So okay, and goes and gets her, and she walks in, and the crowd goes crazy, and we remember the pink outfit she had. She looked so beautiful, and little did they know what was going to happen a few hours later. But they show all this footage, like things that I had never seen, and him kind of whispering to the Secret Service agent to go get Jackie, and things leading up to it. And it's so well done. It's so packed, filled with interesting tidbits and information. I'll watch it again. That's how good it was. Lebo watched it. He was fascinated by it, and so that's the one I would sit and watch.
Okay,
And
that's
it's
good.
not-
That was gonna be my next question. Was which? Because I've watched a handful of different documentaries on it, but which one should I watch with the fam?
It just gives you and then it goes into afterwards and the swearing in of LBJ on the plane, and then into the funeral and how it impacted the country. It does a great job, especially. I was thinking that when I was watching it, especially for someone that's so young that may not have a proper appreciation for it, or not quite understand. I mean, it was like I feel like I've seen as many documentaries as anyone read, and I was watching. I don't think I've ever seen this, or I don't think I've ever heard this person interviewed, right? And so it was fascinating. And so I would certainly recommend that. There's one that they just released on Paramount Plus where, and I have not had a chance to watch it yet, where they have several of the doctors that were there in the emergency room. And a couple of them that actually were there in the room when they were working on JFK, right? To get firsthand accounts. And so I do want to watch that. That would be more difficult to watch. But One Day in America, JFK, One Day in America, and it's National Geographic. And it's so well done. It's terrific. And so that's absolutely, without a doubt, the one I would sit down with your kids if they're interested. But it is, and you'll love it. It's just so, it's sad. Obviously, it's somber, but it's, I think it's a must-watch.
There was one I watched probably 10 years ago now that was one with like no narration. No narration whatsoever. It was called like, I don't remember the name of it now. I think I have it in my history, but
there's one from the History Channel. There's so many ones the Smithsonian did, but this one's the best.
Okay.
It just,
Three Shots That Changed America.
Yeah,
that was the one
that was really
watched,
good
because there was no narration. It was just like footage of everything.
But this one is all just from from eyewitness accounts and people that were there and sharing their perspective. And so I would certainly watch that if you can. So there you go. And I'll be doing a book report and also a project on that. I'll turn into Chad Boger at the end of the week.
He said he wants it double spaced.
Good, that's fine. So and look, it's the 60th anniversary today, and that's what I wanted to put out there. Again, watch JFK One Day in America, and I think you can watch it on Hulu, but it's done by National Geographic. So I'm minding my own business last night. Watching television, and I start let's catch up on my text messages here.
We're not reading those out loud, are we?
Some of them. Well, just a little bit.
Not mine.
Okay, then that's fine. Not yours. I'll give you. I'll give you that. All of a sudden, from someone in this text chain, involving a few people, including you and Leipold and some others, some former employees of Union Broadcasting, current employees of Union Broadcasting, out of nowhere. I hate Shaka Smart. That is all. What a little blank. Fake tough guy. Screw Shaka Smart. All just one right after another, and I'm thinking, oh boy, what's happening here? And so then I check out to see what's happening, and I see Marquette's beating Kansas handily. I go, well, they can't be that mad. The game's not over. They're losing. Are they just mad about that? And then I see, well, what do I see? Describe what I see. I see players or coaches holding Shaka Smart back. I see him and Bill Self having words. I see Bill Self looking back at Shaka Smart after things started to cool down and like having this look on his face, and he's going, unbelievable. So, in your admittedly biased words, what happened? We know that Marquette blew out Kansas.
Yeah.
But that wasn't why I'm getting text messages from people about their tremendous dislike for Shaka Smart. Because this was in the middle of the game. So what led to this? Tell me what happened.
Well, there was like Hunter Dickinson got tangled up with somebody under the basket, and I thought he kind of flopped a little bit and, went to the ground.
Hunter Dickinson did?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And look, that's.
Describe it to someone as if they didn't see it.
Yeah. And so there was a timeout, and as like KU was heading back to their end of the court, I don't really. It was hard to tell what really started it. I read some comments from Shaka Smart afterwards that apparently Kevin McCullough chirped at him a little bit.
Okay, so Kevin McCullough's talking to the bench or talking to Shaka Smart.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
That's what Shaka Smart said. He said he's always kind of enjoyed having a dialogue with me. He probably does that with all the coaches, but that probably started the dust up. Then their bench got involved and our bench got involved. Because the next thing you know, I think it was Curtis Townsend, like he was down in like on the other end, like he's having words with somebody on the Marquette bench, and people are kind of trying to hold him back, and Shaka Smart's being held back, and he's being very animated. And I don't really know. Bill Self was kind of behind.
Who were they holding Shaka Smart back from?
I don't know. I couldn't really tell. I mean,
do you have
the coach
theory?
that was.
I mean, who was he?
The coach that was the most animated on the KU side seemed to be Curtis Townsend.
He was looking to get a piece of Curtis Townsend.
I don't, dude. It's hard to tell.
Well, if you're having someone hold you back, there, you're trying to get to, holding them back from
well,
what? I mean, I don't know.
As one person on our text thread indicated, sometimes that hold me back stuff is a little theatrical, if you ask me. Like, what are you going to do if they don't hold you back? Are you going to go throw a punch at somebody? As a coach, no. So, like, what are they holding you back from?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's the part. It's like, oh, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm having to be held back because I'm so mad right now. But whatever it was, then the referee. What I thought was the most interesting part, like you said, was the referee called the two of them to like mid-court to theoretically calm things down, and it didn't look like they were calming down at all. Like the two of them were just kind of going back and forth at each other, Bill Self and Shaka Smart. And
I sent you like a 50-second clip, Marco, of the broadcast while that's going on. So maybe
Smart was kind of like, it looked like he was kind of accusing KU of something, and Bill Self was kind of going back like, what are you talking about, man? And then finally, as you said, you could see Self walking off going, unbelievable.
Is there any chance that they were holding Shaka Smart back from Greg Gurley? Is that...
I might have texted with Greg a little bit during that whole exchange, but
could that be on the table? Then we could all understand that. Then we could.
I don't think that would be the case. I'd be surprised if that was it.
It's a reasonable question to ask.
Yeah, it's a fair question, but I don't think that's what happened. So, I don't really. I mean,
say something.
It's Shaka Smart, that's basically like
You're not a fan of him to begin with.
I've been told by Jarrett Sutton that
Jay Sutt,
that he told me after spending a lot of time with Shaka Smart, you and Shaka Smart have a lot in common. He really actually reminds me a lot of you.
I like
that.
Which
Which I feel like was Jarrett kind of trying to, get a dig in at me a little bit, but. So I've had that in the back of my mind that maybe I just misunderstand the guy. Maybe I don't.
Like maybe after last night, you go back to your original thought.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't on his side last night watching it. I thought he was acting a little childish.
Can we play that? Can we just play that 50-second clip of what were the announcers saying?
I mean, describing the scene to no surprise, but they were still confused of what was going on.
Let me see. Listen to a taste.
Play for the point of interruption. We'll try to get you some looks of what we saw. It seems calmer right now between Self and Smart, but that was a little bit more than just some emotion out there for a couple of moments. And Shaka Smart is still steaming. And there are still some words being exchanged. This one, hopefully it's over and they can stick to basketball. But we got some unhappy campers on both sides right now. Let's see what we can see. You can see Shaka upset and getting held back by Sean Jones. And then on the other side, the Kansas coaching staff has come out of the court as well. It looked like both sides were given pretty equally here. And the officials really did a great job making sure this one didn't get too bad.
More like basket brawl, am I right?
Hey.
I will say Kevin McCullough's shown high-fiving his teammate while the referee is coming over to him, and I don't know. Maybe he's happy that he sparked a little something underneath
Hey,
Shaka.
all right.
If the accusations are true. I don't know.
Thank goodness they held Shaka Smart back from whoever he was going after.
Yeah, I know. I mean, who knows what he would have been capable of? Had he?
I'm gonna. You have not provided me with enough information to change my mind. I say he was going after Greg Gurley.
Well, that's you know what?
That's what I was. That's my initial reaction.
So I'm watching some video here after he hit a 3. He's kind of chirping at their bench a little bit, and Shaka Smart kind of goes after him, yelling back.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah.
And then this coach, I don't know. I mean,
like Taylor Swift said, now we got bad blood.
Yeah.
Get these teams in the same region in the NCAA tournament. Huh?
Yes.
I just love I do like the shot of Self just looking back going, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So
right.
That's Shaka. He's had some trash talk for KU in the past himself. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder about Kansas. And he got his licks in last night. They beat Kansas pretty good.
Do you have a chip on your shoulder about Shaka Smart?
Well, I don't really think there's much. I mean, look, he's got a couple wins against Kansas now, but he also had to, flee the conference before he lost his job. Well, yeah, right.
Did he run?
Flee the conference.
Like just like he just like have a like an overnight bag, Windows Office, got as much stuff he could put in there.
Yeah.
Hurry, grabbed his coat, and got the hell out of there.
Come on, honey, we got to get out of here.
Where's Shaka at?
Yeah. Well, he came in. The
coffee was still warm, and he's just you hear his car peel out.
He came in with some pretty brash talk to the Big 12 about how winning conferences and all that stuff.
He went to the top of the athletic department and got to the roof, and a helicopter picked him up.
Something like that.
And he fleed off.
Got the hell out of there, before they fired him.
Hey.
And he's doing well at Marquette, so good for him.
I just wanted to hear what happened. We'll talk more about it. You had a chance to catch up with Lance Leipold.
I did. Good conversation with Coach. Yep.
You didn't talk to him about Shaka Smart, did you?
No, I didn't ask him. And we recorded it before all that stuff went down. So
you should have known. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
And look, I know the result wasn't what you wanted, and you're not in this for for moral victories or any of those things. I told you before we started the broadcast or started this interview that I was very impressed with the way your team came out and played in this game, considering some of the things you guys were up against K-State in this game. How did you feel overall just about the way your team approached it, the way your team came out in this game, and I guess the overall effort of the squad?
Well, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. First of all, it was a great environment for college football, just holistically in that regard. I thought it was a great environment for this area, for both universities of a setting. I was very proud of the way we battled, competed, all those things. As I told our team on Monday, I was disappointed in the outcome, but definitely not disappointed in them. And as you know, at this time of the year, you go through different things, and watching us battle and do the things we need to do, it's one of those situations where you're playing a good football team, a ranked football team, defending conference champs, and you got to play well. And there's probably 3 to 5 plays that we wish we could redo and have a different outcome and played a big part in that game.
Obviously, one of the plays that stands out the most when you're referring to those is you had an opportunity at another pick six, right? And we've talked with you this year about your team's uncanny ability to come up with those big defensive scores, and it got dropped. And I want to ask you this because I know what I was thinking as I watched it happen on television. Can you take me through the emotional roller coaster in that moment as a coach when you see yourself that close to what would have been such a massive moment?
Yeah, you feel bad. You feel big opportunity for huge momentum again. We had come out and had an explosive play offensively right out of the gate. A pass to Mace Fairchild. We go down. We score quickly. First minute and a half of the half, we kind of get them backed up. You got a chance to go up 18. And, it doesn't mean the game by any stretch is over, but a huge momentum. Then the next play, I don't know what they broke a running play for about 50 yards. I mean, so you're talking huge swings of momentum at that in a matter of a minute. And, it was disappointing. It was clear sailing into the end zone. And obviously one of those plays that I referred to.
So your defense did, though, even after that, come back with some big stops and bowed their necks. And I'm curious. Look, they didn't get the stop on the last touchdown drive for K-State, but overall, against what has been a really good offense in K-State, how did you feel about the defensive performance on the night?
I thought it was a good performance. I mean, that's an excellent, experienced offensive line. They do a great job schematically and stressing you in a lot of different areas. Came out first play, schemed us well, and hit an explosive play. And they scored within the first minute and a half of the first half. And to be able to kind of settle down and play the way we did, again, like I said, it was a good performance. Looking at some other things as we went through, we lost the turnover battle. We had more minus yards plays than they did. We had more penalty yards than they did. So those are the ones, besides a couple plays that, we lost a special teams battle, extra point blocked, and then return for 2. We drop a punt, and then we have a halo violation and interference on the returner. You put those plays with the other one that we just mentioned and some other stuff, it's tough to beat, like I said, a ranked team in a game like that also had won our conference the year before.
I feel quite certain that's something that you've already talked about, the team, all the things you just listed. Is that almost like a good news, bad news thing when you're talking to the team? Like, hey, on the bad news side, we made these mistakes. It's our fault. But on the good news side, we cleaned those things up. We've just won this game. We're not that far away from getting a massive win for the program. Is that the way you package it to the team?
Yeah, I think in very, very similar terms. I think there's sometimes, though, as we look at that, and especially then many times from the fan standpoint, okay, you sit there and you say we beat ourselves and this loss or that loss. Well, I'm sure Oklahoma said they beat themselves when we beat them
right.
in an upset. Everybody can sit there. And what we do say, Nate, is as much as where we're at sometimes, the margin of victory, the difference between victory and defeat is usually in a 3 to 5 play scenario. And you can grab those each and every game. As many times as you can be, 7-4 at the moment, you could be 4-7 or less very easily. Okay, and the ones that go your direction, of course, you kind of quickly go over, but your opponents on Mondays talking about that with their team, and that's what makes football very interesting. It's a game of inches, like it's always been said, and it's a matter of making those. And we always talk about we don't know what the difference will be each and every week, so we need to make sure that we're covering everything to detail as best we can to make sure we give ourselves the best chance.
Well, one of the things you guys did to give yourselves the best chance is run the football, and a very creative offense. I find your offense so entertaining to watch because you just don't know what you're going to see from a formation standpoint, from a motion standpoint. You guys just seem to throw so many different things and looks at your opponent, and the run game worked very well in that regard. What do you attribute that to, the success you guys had in the running game against K-State?
Well, I think you hit on some. I think our offensive staff does a great job. I think we're pretty dinged up front going into that game, and we're mixing and matching personnel. Bryce Cable, our right tackle, did not play second half, so we're trying to find some ways. So part of that goes into motion shifts and distortion that forces people to maybe be more vanilla, maybe be more locked in, and we can cause maybe an assignment error by the defense. And then of course each and every week we've been able to maybe expand or tweak what we like to do, and maybe it's with wildcat formations and different people taking the snap and things like that cause the unknown, and that sometimes helps us where we don't always match up where we think we'd like to be each and every week as well. And I think that's played out, and I think that's kind of what we've developed in a reputation so far in our short time here.
We're visiting with Coach Lance Leipold. And, Coach, I know you've spoken about the situation at quarterback and needing the right amount of practice time, and that's why Cole Ballard ended up getting the start in this game. Is there a hard, fast rule that you have in terms of if our guy doesn't practice by this day in the week, we can't go? Or do you kind of have to – is it case by case? How do you evaluate that situation?
Yeah. Early in my coaching career, at the lower levels and things like that, I used to be more steadfast that you needed to have, what I would say 2 of the 3 heavy work days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You need to get 2 of those in some capacity to be able to play and contribute. But, when you look at the total volume of work and practice and the availability with today to get someone ready through the whole season, I think sometimes you can modify that rule. And you have to make and many times it goes down to the individual. And in some cases, it's the individual between retention of information, changes in scheme, and what they're going to see, maybe what you're up against this defense versus maybe the weeks before and things like that. So it's probably a little more case by case. How long has a player been in our program, and how much college experience do they have to be put out there? So, and of course, the position that the person plays also will play a factor.
All right, Coach, you've got one last game in the regular season coming up on Saturday, 6:30 against Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Look, they're having a little bit of a rough go from a record standpoint as they are in their first year in the Big 12, but I'm sure you see things on film that make them dangerous. What stands out to you the most about Cincinnati?
Yeah, I continue to go through and keep watching all past 11 games, and and I know it'll be cliche-ish to say this, but they're a lot better than their record shows. They show physicality and explosiveness on offense. Defensively, impressed with their front. A physical defense that'll come down and hit you. But watching their offense, their running backs don't go down on the first contact. A big physical running quarterback. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Arkansas quarterback that we played in the bowl game last year. Not afraid to put his head down and get extra yards. Use them well in naked schemes. And then, of course, fly sweeps and other ways to get the ball on the perimeter to their skilled players. So this is not one that you think you can show up to and win. And they want to keep building themselves in a positive way as they head into the off season and into year 2 in the Big 12. But more importantly, probably send their seniors off at home in appropriate fashion. This is a program, as we know, 2 years ago was playing Alabama in the semifinals of the college football playoffs. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of talented players still left.
Well, Coach, it's also Thanksgiving week. I know it's a work week for you guys. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday personally. What kind of plans do you guys have for Thanksgiving? How do you handle that?
Well, we're going to bring them in, and we got work to get done. So we bring them in and do our regular morning and Thursday. And the nice thing is, being a morning practice team, it's transitioned very well in routine to allow our players to come in, get their work done. We'll do a Thanksgiving meal as a lunch here, but also early enough to get them out the building that those that have the ability to also get to their families or loved ones in any way, shape, or form can do so. And then many of the coaches, we'll have players over at the house later in the day as well if they so desire. And then on Friday morning, we'll be back in here and head to the airport.
Coach, what's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Ooh, side. Ooh, I don't know. That's a coin flip. I'm kind of in there. Green bean casserole is pretty good.
Okay.
I'm not, I'm in the minority in the family on this, but I'm not saying that the canned cranberries is really kind of a sleeper pick.
Okay.
But more importantly, you always got to make sure that you have enough room yet to have pumpkin pie and pecan pie as well in due time.
That my wife makes the pumpkin pie at our house, and she does the cranberries. So you're speaking my language right now, Coach. I love both of those calls. Hey, listen, Coach. I think most Kansas fans thankful that you're around. I know that. And good luck this weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Good luck against Cincinnati this weekend. We appreciate the time as always.
No problem, and thank you. It's great to be with you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and all your listeners.
That is
Rock Chalk.
That is Kansas head football coach Lance Leipold. We'll be back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What?
Shaka might have told Bill Self to go blank himself.
And that's why Bill Self was saying unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Shaka Smart was John with Kevin McCullough.
Yeah.
Well,
Chasing a.
thank goodness they held him back, you know.
Yeah. Who knows what he would have done
Right.
if
Who
he
knows
got his
what
hands on McCullough? What would have
Who
happened?
knows what he's capable of. And so first, we have our old friend, regular guest every week during the baseball season, Jamie Bluma. Jamie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How you guys doing? Long time.
How you been?
Good.
How you doing?
Busy. Busy as always.
Is that right?
Yes.
Tell people where they can find you if they need lessons in life or baseball.
You can find me. You know what? I blanked on our number at work
That's
again.
fine.
HomefieldKC.com. You can find me on Twitter at Bundy Jr. 19. You can find me on Facebook. I'm sure if you don't have my cell phone number by now, it's not hard to get. A little bit of time off right now. Everybody finished up fall ball, kind of getting ready for the holidays and stuff, and then training right after Thanksgiving's over. Training will get back, getting ready for next spring, high school tryouts and all that stuff. So.
You like how this song will not end, even though the segment's a minute into it?
I'd like singing along to that
Right.
song. I like that.
Marco wants you to hear the entire theme to Cheers.
There it was.
So we have a couple of guests that you were the connection to make this happen. So I'll let you introduce who we have here.
Well, I can't believe it's been as long as it's been. I think first time was back in 2014, right? Yeah, so 2014. I met Dave Darby doing Royals Fantasy Camp years ago, and we've kept in touch. He now lives in Phoenix. Excuse me, but we've kept in touch over all these years. But I guess 9 years ago, probably 2 weeks, a month ago, SungWoo is back from Korea. And we... The one thing that I remember is actually playing catch here in the parking lot at 8:10 in anticipation for him throwing out the first pitch, and I did a terrible job of as an instructor, I think, because he
Has it
airmailed.
been 9 years?
It's been 9 years. 9 years ago, October. Crazy.
It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that. You know, that doesn't seem like 9 years
I know.
ago.
Almost a decade ago. Can you believe that?
And so, SungWoo Lee, welcome to the show, by the way. Thank you for coming in here again.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
And this is the first time you've been back to Kansas City since 9 years ago? Or have you been back since then?
Actually, my last visit was 2015
Okay.
for the premiere for 30 for 30 at Union Center.
Okay, right.
So it's been 8 years.
Okay, 8 years. And so do you remember the last time you were here with us? You
Yes.
You talked about pants off? Or was that right? That's what I remember, having your pants off. What was that?
No pants.
Remind me of that. As of no pants? Or I remember something about that. I don't know why that stuck with me, but something was going on in the
So
hotel.
with Dave and then another friend to make my dream come true in 2014.
To come to Kansas City?
Yes, and one of the friends is, the fake Ned
Right.
in the Twitter. So he just kind of some dirty joke.
Right, some
so
dirty jokes.
Always says, "Are you sure you put on your pants like
Right.
this?" So
Right. Well,
that's why
you got to make sure you have your pants on.
He does have pants on in the studio today, for the record.
And and you're very, very popular on Twitter, which is known as X now. And if you want to follow SungWoo, his handle is at @KoreanFan_KC. And you still, even though SungWoo, I don't know if you realize this, but the Royals are not as good as they used to be. That's something we've all had to deal with. But you still love them, right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you love the Chiefs,
Yes.
even though they lost the other night.
So that's one of the reason I pick up this week to visit Kansas City to see Chiefs game.
In Kansas City and be in the environment. So for people that remember you and that have followed you and follow you on social media, update us on your life of what's happened in your life over the last eight or 9 years. Right.
Yes. I have a boy.
Oh,
6 years old.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank
Nice.
you. So,
Okay.
as I mentioned, Chris and Dave, they are the man who helped me a lot to make dream come true to visit Kansas City. So I invited them to Korea. They visit to Seoul in 2017.
Oh.
And then after their visit, I knew that my wife is pregnant. So at the same year, the Chris and Dave visit Seoul. My wife gave birth in the November. So it's also it's quite a memorable year for me. In 2017, there is a president impeachment in Seoul, in South Korea. So there's a lot of things at the time. And then I just tied with my boy, and then I get a promotion at company. Then I.
And what's your job? What do you do at your company? You got a promotion,
yeah.
so
I work for a travel retail business back to Korea.
Okay.
So the duty free business at
the
the
duty
airport.
free shop you see at the airport.
Yep. Yes.
You work at
exactly.
you buy things to sell in the duty free shop.
Yes. So a lot of goods like fashion goods like Louis Vuitton and Gucci. And then,
Gucci.
That's all Stephen wears.
That's
yeah.
Absolutely.
Louis
I'm wearing it
Vuitton
right
and Gucci.
now.
And you buy alcohol.
Yes.
I also do that. So quite a bit.
Yep. For the last 7 years, I'm in charge of liquor and tobacco and confectionery for the Korean duty-free market.
And so you come to Kansas City to tour some of the distillers. We're sponsored by Jay Rieger and Company here on our show.
Mm-hmm.
You toured this place.
I went there yesterday.
And
did you go down the slide?
No.
All right, just asking.
When I go there, when I went there, there is a video shoot. They are shooting some promotional video, so it was not available.
The slide was closed. Yep. But is it possible then that someday, if I fly to Seoul and go to the duty-free shop, that I could buy some J. Rieger whiskey?
I hope so.
But is that what you're trying to do?
You're here on business also.
Oh, yes. It's kind of a business trip for me. And I also came here with my boss. I worked with him over the 17 years. The boss, my boss was the man who allowed me make it back to Kansas City for World Series with ESPN, MLB people in October. So he never visit to the Kansas City before. Even he stayed in the States for his study over the 3 years. So I decided to bring him Kansas City together for this trip.
How's he like? Does he enjoy Kansas City?
Yes.
So far?
Yes. At the very first sight, the brand new Kansas City airport, it's caught his eyes. Wow, it's quite a.
There you go, Nate. Nate loves that airport, but he loves. So you loved it. You love the airport.
It's nice, isn't it?
It seems like much bigger and much new than the Chicago's one.
Yeah, it is.
Every time I come back, I'm like, am I in the wrong airport? This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then another impressive thing was there's a lot of Kansas City local product stores.
Yes.
Back in Seoul, there's a lot of famous fashion goods from the overseas. As I told you, the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Hermes, Chanel, like this. But we don't have much of Korean local product there. So even Korean customs, the government who give us kind of a license, they had some kind of a minimum limit to handle our Korean own local products at the duty-free store. So maybe that without tax and duty, people love to buy some expensive overseas stuff, but I really impressive with all those Kansas City local products at the airport stores.
So I've been following along with your trip on X, formerly known as Twitter. What happened here? It looks like you guys had a big day, and then your boss fell asleep in the back seat. What happened here?
He was tired.
That's why I was wrong. Bloom almost fell out of his chair right
Yeah.
like that.
Look
So
out.
I'm looking. I'm thinking maybe he's excited about the trip, but I don't know. Is that like, sometimes there's a good reason you fell asleep because you had too much fun?
4:38 a.m. I've
wasn't-
seen that picture before.
Yeah, right,
Not
exactly.
4:38 p.m.
Yeah, you've seen me after a playoff game
Yes.
that looking like that. So what led to this here? This looks like a,
It was Monday. We made a visit to the Thomastown Distillery and then the Union Horse Distillery in Kansas City.
a couple of distillers. So that'll do it. So he
When you go there, we had a chance to taste their
Samples.
own
Yeah.
products. So
Can't
maybe,
drink all day if you don't start early.
maybe,
a little nap after that. Then.
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody needs a
It's,
nap.
You know, over the 80 proof, almost 100 proof with the whiskey. So just 6 or maybe 7 small Glencairn glasses, but that make
You add them all up, and then all of a sudden
that
Makes
made
you sleepy.
my boss
you pass out in the
sleepy.
back seat. Then that's what happens. And so how long's the trip? How long's the flight for you to get here?
From Seoul to Chicago is took 14 hours, and then another stopover in Chicago 4 hours, and then 1 hour and a half to Kansas City from Chicago. So actually, my boss and I kept awake almost 28, 29 hours
Oh,
at
boy.
that time. So.
No wonder
And
you
then
didn't sleep in the back.
Yeah, so
Oh.
Monday was the very first day we visit the distillers. So that's why my boss just fell asleep in the back seat.
Well, that makes sense.
Catching up.
That makes more sense. And so so you watch? Do you watch all the Chiefs games? Are you able to watch all the Chiefs games?
Yes, of course.
At home, and so you've developed into quite a Chiefs fan, obviously. And so when they won the Super Bowl, which at the time you celebrate? Are there other Chiefs fans that you've been able to connect with
In
where
Seoul?
you're at? Yes, or is there
Nope.
just you?
No.
Yeah, so
You haven't been able to convert anyone, or
so that's the why I'd like to make a visit in this week to watch Chiefs game with any other fans and friends. I'd like to feel this kind of atmosphere. Yeah.
how was it? I know they lost,
no.
but leading up to it, at least like the first, I think, how was it when it was just to be around a whole bunch of other Chiefs fans and to be able to be part of the atmosphere you're
Actually,
looking for?
I didn't make a game at the Arrowhead Stadium, so I went to is it okay? I can just mention the bar name.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
They're-
I
they're
went to a
partner.
bar.
They're partner.
You say it.
I went to Johnny's
Oh,
Tavern.
Johnny's
there you go.
great friends.
Nice
of,
and dry in there. You didn't get rained on the whole time if you'd been at the game.
And
That's
then there
good.
are
Kyle Witherspoon
the-
down there.
packed with Chiefs fans, and then there's one table with Eagles fan though.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting experience for me.
Are you what they call a Swiftie? You like the Taylor Swift? Are you?
Sorry, I'm
Don't
not.
answer that.
No. Well, that's
No, no
I'm
Taylor
curious, I don't
Swift,
know.
huh?
And so you, and the time difference. And so when it's a noon game here, because right now 10:07 in Seoul, is at night. I mean,
Sunday noon game.
yeah. So what
of
time is it?
Chiefs,
Yeah.
is about 5 or 3 a.m. on Monday.
Okay. So how do you watch it live or do you have to?
Yeah,
so-
on live.
Okay.
I just set an alarm on my phone and just
You get up at 3 a.m. and
Yep.
watch the game. So you
Or
really
8
are.
a.m.
I don't know if I could do that. But that's so it was exciting to have you come here and for you and be around other Chiefs fans and everything else. What else? Because the city's changed quite a bit, even for us that live here. Like you said, the airport, but so many changes. What else have you liked about the differences between your last trip and now your return to Kansas City?
Yeah, many friends on X, Twitter,
Right.
just mentioned the Ferris wheel,
Yeah.
but it's not that quite interesting.
Yeah, you don't care. Yeah, you don't care about the Ferris wheel.
The brand new airport is the biggest change, I think.
Right.
And then it's a natural, but once World Season ended, so it's much more like a Chips Town.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw, but I did see, you caught up with George Brett? You saw George Brett?
Yesterday, yes.
Where did you see George at?
I met him at Starbucks.
Okay. Is it just so? How was that to see George Brett? I mean, that's.
Frankly, I didn't expect to see him in Kansas City during this kind of very short trip. So, I didn't tweet it out. I'm coming back to Kansas City to people know that. So I never thought about I could have any chance to see him. Especially I know of, as I know of, he has a home in the Arizona too. So maybe he is in the more warm place at this time around.
Right.
So, but his son Jackson Brad to reach out to Dave. So thankfully I got a chance to meet George Brad with my boss.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a way to impress your boss.
Yeah.
Here's one of the greatest players in baseball history.
Yes.
Right? Nate Bukaty. And how long were you in the hallway before Nate tried to talk to you about soccer? He likes to tell everyone about soccer. He got you pretty quick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that? You were like,
I didn't expect soccer is gonna be a big thing in the States.
Well, for him, it is. I can tell you that.
People have baseball, and then once baseball ends, there will be a basketball and then a football. So soccer is a kind of big thing in the Europe, in Asia, but not the big big business at the time. So, but with David Beckham and then Messi, they just ends up their playing time in Europe and make a kind of investment or just join to the States to boost up the soccer's interest.
Now you're gonna wind him up.
We got the World Cup coming in 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the Royals though, because I do think it's impressive that even after all of these tough years, the last few years, you're still decked out in your Royals gear.
You love the Royals.
So what do you think, as a fan, the Royals need to do to get back to their winning ways? What do you want to see J.J. Piccolo?
We only have 3 hours left in the show, Nate. What do you kind of ask that kind of question?
What do you want to see from the Royals this coming year?
It's simple for me. It's draft well and develop well.
Draft and develop, Steven.
There you go.
Especially pitching, right?
Hire
they
SungWoo,
need to
put him in
develop
the
some
front
pitching,
office.
don't they?
We are a very small market team, so I don't expect our owners to open the wallet unlimitedly. So I think the draft and then a player develop should be a very beginning for another trip to the playoffs.
How about open the wallet just a little bit? Get a couple of those credit cards out, something. Get a couple of players, anything, please.
You mean?
Yeah, I mean, you say you don't want to open the wallet. Just any open the checkbook, do something, pay for somebody. I mean, I want to draft and develop as well. But how about would you like them? Because the big talk now is whether or not they should spend over $200 million to sign Bobby Witt Jr. to a long-term deal. Are you on board with that, or do you think, you know what, this small market, they can't invest that much money in one player? What would you like?
Frankly speaking, I'm afraid is too much money on just one player. So I'm not sure the Royals franchise Royals owner can afford it.
What do you say, Jamie Bluma, about that?
I mean, that's a decision they got to make. Either keep him and sign him and try to build around him, or strike while the iron is hot. He couldn't be worth more than he is right now, coming off the season that he was. To maybe trade him and get some prospects and try to rebuild this organization.
Is Patrick Mahomes in any commercials in South Korea? Do you see him all over the place? Is he anywhere?
No, but I saw his commercial with Andy Reid through in between the NFL games.
You like that?
The one where Andy Reid tries to take his chicken nuggies?
Chicken nuggets?
Like this?
Yeah.
So okay, so in South Korea, the most popular sport
It's soccer.
is soccer, and then after soccer,
It's baseball.
and then after baseball, would you say
Maybe basketball.
basketball, and then what about after basketball?
It's a volleyball.
Volleyball. Okay, and so there's, I mean, nowhere. I mean, American football is it starting to get more popular at all? Because the NFL is trying to go global and they focus a lot, in Germany, England, everything else. Is there interest? I know you're interested in the Chiefs, but is there any interest in the NFL at all?
I know there are some couple of teams in college for the American style football, but there are not many athletes to do the American football. They just rather choose playing soccer or baseball or even basketball. That makes some money. But
What's your son want to play? What's he interested in? He's 6 years old, and so he says,
My boy?
Yeah, he's gonna start playing sports. What does he want
Not
to play?
yet.
Not yet. What will you want him to play when it's time to play sports?
once I said, but I'm not an athletic guy at all.
Right.
So, frankly speaking, I don't ride a bike.
Right.
Yeah. I just breathe.
Yeah, you just breathe. Yeah.
So
you're the brains. All right.
I don't think my boy has any talent to play any sports.
You never know.
For his job.
You never know.
No, just like for fun.
For
fun as a kid.
No, I don't think it's kind of some kind of gifted talent in the blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does Kansas City barbecue compare to Korean barbecue?
We have Korean barbecue. We called it samgyeopsal. Is made with pork belly.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's good.
We don't put on much sauce on it. Just grilled with charcoal or fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Kansas City barbecue much on a sauce.
Yeah.
On it. So it's,
we like
it's
our sauce here.
Kind of quite different.
What's your favorite Kansas City barbecue? Like all the different kinds you tried. Not the place, but like the ribs, burn ends, brisket. Like what's your favorite type of barbecue you've had?
Like pulled pork.
Pulled pork. The pulled pork.
Yeah, it's much more soft and tender.
Right.
Yeah.
That just like Nate.
Yeah, I'm
people
very
like
soft
Nate
and
more.
tender.
He's very
That's
soft
right.
and tender.
Getting softer as the time goes on.
That's why they call him pulled pork.
What about you were telling me in the commercial break, Korean liquor? I'm interested. What do people drink or make instead of whiskey in Korea?
Yeah. In Korea, we have our own sort of traditional liquor called soju.
Soju.
It's white spirit.
What did you bring me? You brought me like a little bottle.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, no. Last time you did. What was it you brought? I can't.
That was a soju.
It was strong. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
No, you brought it last time. It was very good. Is that what it was?
It's made out of rice.
Rice and tapioca, like a sweet potato.
Okay.
But it's not much of a flavor at all. Just like vodka.
Yeah.
Right.
Moonshine.
Yeah.
Right. It gets the job done.
Yeah. Put some hair on your chest.
Right.
Naps in back seats and whatnot.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And so, do you? So like you said, this is a business trip also.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get everything accomplished that you wanted to? Do you feel like it was successful?
Yes, I'd like to call it. It was successful.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what are some of the things that was it? So mainly liquor, right? Any chance you can import Nate? Would any
for a soccer?
Yeah, just to have him go over to South Korea and spread the word about soccer. Or is that something
if he can say some Korean?
Well, I'll have to study that. Yeah, I'll have to study.
I think he could do it. He could pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I love learning languages.
And so then what's
I would love to go to Korea someday.
So then, what's the next step of trying to get some of the Kansas City products available in South Korea?
First, I'd like to bring whiskey.
Right.
So when I made a very first visit to Kansas City, I just hooked up with Kansas City craft beers.
Yeah.
Nate asked me what is the main liquor in Korea, but we also have some beer, but it is mainly the cool, light, and clear lager only.
Like a lager, okay.
Yes. So once I tasted craft beers with a lot of happy taste and flavor, it just caught my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to start it with beer for the Korean travel retail business. But the beer is quite picky to handle with a lot of pressure in the flight, and then a temperature, and then a much short expiration date.
Shelf life.
So I'd like to start with whiskey, and also yesterday George Brett mentioned Kansas City local chocolate too.
Ooh, Russell Stover. Yeah.
But the chocolate also kind of not that easy to handle. It's a melting. So
whiskey's perfect. You can
yes.
It keeps whatever temperature perfect. And we have good whiskey in Kansas City. So
Bluma, you travel all over the place as a baseball ambassador. What about
I'd love to get over to Korea at some point. Sure.
I'm surprised you haven't been all the places.
I haven't. I've been to Japan and I've been to a bunch of places over in Europe, but with all the USSSA things that I've done, I haven't gotten a chance to go over to Korea. I know some guys that have played over there. I know some guys that are currently coaching in the league over there, but have never gotten the opportunity. Certain would never turn it down.
Can you make that happen, SungWoo? Can we get
to.
Bluma over there as a baseball ambassador?
It is none of my business, though. But
you can make it happen. We're going to make it your business. How would he be received in South Korea? They'd love him. Everyone would love him, wouldn't they?
I wish Korean baseball people would not watch my first pitch.
I got no chance of teaching a clinic over there now because of my.
I made it terrible after his instructions.
Well,
he did. He actually called me and apologized immediately after.
Sounds like you owe him an apology.
So who's your favorite Royals player now of the current team?
The Salvi, and then currently the Vinny is kind of very active on social media.
Yeah, you like Vinny?
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be a difficult question I have to ask you. So the other topic has been, because we're talking about rebuilding the Royals, right? Should they trade Salvi? Should they trade Salvi to clear some salary and to try to get some prospects and try to move on and send him to a contender? Do you say trade Salvi, or do you keep Salvi and you want him to stay in a Royals uniform for his entire career? What's your decision?
I saw the pros and cons in between many fans regarding on that matter, but if I could see what Fred Fermin can do for this team without Salvi, but Fermin got injured almost in the end of season, so I'd like to keep Salvi during the off season, and then give some more time to Freddie to what he can do like this. So maybe next year during the season, or it's kind of a business decision. So
possible trade deadline.
Okay. Also, do you have any idea where Royals prospect Asa Lacy is? Because we can't find him. Is he in South Korea by any chance? Because he is not. We don't know where he is.
He's healthy.
We don't know. We'd like to. If you have any information, please let us know on the Border Patrol, and we'll report that out there. So, and you're leaving today?
Yes, this afternoon at 3:30.
Right. And so, are you sad you're leaving? I mean, I know you want to go back and see your family, but it seems like you had a pretty good trip. Do you think you come back anytime soon in the future?
Oh, yes. If this whiskey thing's going well, I'd like to make a visit more often or more shorter period.
Right. Nate, any final words for our friend SungWoo? That does not have to do with soccer.
I think it's awesome that you are trying to bring some of what Kansas City has to offer to Korea, to the duty-free shops there. And someday, I think it's amazing that we could have Kansas City whiskey in the airport in Seoul, Korea. Thank you for your connection to Kansas City and staying with us, even though our baseball team hasn't been as good the last few years as it was when you came over here last time.
But the Chiefs are good, so we got that going for us.
Yeah.
Yes, now Chiefs made some headlines before because of Taylor Swift and Kelsey dating together.
Right.
So
yeah,
but it's not many football fans over there in Korea. So, but I think it was a very good chance for some draw interest and attention from the many Korean sports fans.
Okay, so for people, we've got a lot of listeners out there that follow you on Twitter, on X. What would you say to the Kansas City fans that you've stayed connected with? And it seems like, even though it's been almost a decade, you still have a really good connection with a lot of people in Kansas City. What would you say to those fans that might be listening right now?
Frankly speaking, I didn't spread out I'm coming to Kansas City via social media, X, because I a little bit worry about how do I look like using some my fame or my attention to bring Kansas City whiskey to Seoul just for my personal interest. But once I got here, the distillers people were so kind, so friendly. They just let me know everything of their product and then a history like this. So I was much more feel good about it. And then it's still a very beginning stage, just idea meeting with distillers and getting to know each other. So we still much more had to do clear things to export whiskey, and then in my side to import foreign alcohol. A lot of regulations and then a tax thing. So
red tape.
It's just started, but I hope I could make it successfully with Kansas City whiskey and then more local product into Korea. It couldn't be any better.
See, I feel like a lot of people consider you an honorary Kansas Cityan.
Yeah.
Right. And
You're
so
part of the
you
family,
don't
man.
have to feel like, because you're a part of Kansas City baseball history now, and so you have to use that. You could do whatever you want. Like Nate, he walks around and everywhere he goes, he tries to get free stuff because he goes, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know I'm Nate? Yeah. So you should do that. Nate will tell you how to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. No, but everyone loves you here in Kansas City, so don't feel bad about that. You're an honorary Kansas Cityan. You represent Kansas City in South Korea, and so that's
thank you so much.
Well, he's the epitome of a fan, through thick and thin. I mean,
right.
It's been 10 years. We haven't played great since. 15,
what the hell
16.
do you mean by that?
Yeah, well,
Right.
But appreciate him just being a fan still. Thank you.
Well, Dave, thanks for bringing him in, and thanks for making that possible, and Bluma, you as well. And so we're glad you're doing well. Congratulations on your boy. That's awesome, and your family. And thank you for wearing pants. I know that was an issue last time, and so we're glad that you did that. And any way we can help, let us know. In the future, we're happy to help you. We consider you a friend, and we're glad that you had a great trip to Kansas City, and hopefully you'll be back soon.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are a Kansas Cityan. You're one of us. So, just remember that.
Yes, I really appreciate it.
That sounded kind of somewhat threatening the way you said that.
Well,
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to make sure.
That's
whether you like it or
right.
not, pal.
Yeah, don't think you're not.
Lock the door. Now you can't leave. SungWoo Lee, you can follow him on X, on Twitter at KoreanFan_KC, and he says the Royals are going to get back to the postseason pretty soon. He didn't put a number on it, but in a couple of years, and we'll all celebrate. That's SungWoo Lee. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHP.